This is the Canon PowerShot SX40HS. The first thing that strikes you when you take it out of the box is that it looks like a digital SLR, but in fact it's Canon's latest top-end point and shoot. The controls look to be easy to reach and well laid out. It fits in the hand nicely. It's very small, it's compact. It would fit into a day pack or a lady's handbag very, very easily. It's the sort of thing you could throw in your bag and take with you if you're going out for the day. The other thing I noticed was that it's got a viewfinder. A lot of cameras are not using the little viewfinders anymore. They're starting to just have the LCDs. Now the LCDs are great and I'm a big fan of LCDs. There is a but though. If it's a bright sunny day and all you've got to rely on is the LCD, your pupils have got small to allow for the bright sunshine, the LCD looks dark and you can't see what you're doing. It's always better to be able to look through one of these. Now even though these little viewfinders are not optical, they have a little tiny TV screen inside them which is sort of really close to your eye, and generally speaking in my experience they've been rubbish. But I have to say I was pleasantly surprised to notice that this one is pretty good. Now this little camera came with a list of key features, which I've got in a pocket here somewhere. We've got a 35x ultra-wide angle lens. It's 24 to 840 millimeters. Now that is an enormous focal range and it's meant to be optical. 840 millimeters is more powerful than any lens that I use with my professional kit. But I'm not so sure about the 24 millimeter being ultra-wide. We've got intelligent image stabilizing. That's a really, really useful thing to have, and we'll go and play with that in a minute. 12.1 megapixels. Well, most people have got lots of megapixels. You don't need that many, but this has got plenty. Again, I mentioned the little LCD which comes out and turns in all directions. They're really, really handy and I do like them. It also has full manual modes. Now, when I was at home, I was obviously fiddling with this before we came out shooting. And I have to say, I do take exception with one or two of these features. Now, let's put this ultra-wide angle to the test. I brought my DSLR with me. 24 millimeters doesn't sound particularly ultra-wide to me. 10 I would consider to be wide. 8 you're getting into ultra-wide, and below that you're fisheye. Now it could be that for this type of camera 24 millimeters is quite wide, but let's just do a practical test with that. Let's get down low, see what we can do with these buildings. Now, one of the things I love about these little LCDs is that it is, whoops, I'm pressing too many buttons, there we go. And there's a little thing I've just noticed, it's very easy to catch these buttons here when you're shooting. So, let's line up a shot. I'm going to put the skyscrapers right into the edge of the frame like that, because we've got dramatic sky going on. That's pretty cool. That's with it at its widest zoom, 24 millimeters. Let's try the same thing using a 10mm wide angle lens. I'm going to put the skyscrapers into the same place in the frame, but in this shot there's a whole extra building in it. Ultra wide? Maybe. Let's go and try the other end of the zoom spectrum. A powerful zoom isn't just for photographing things a long way off. These poor pigeons which are trying to get out of the wind make great subjects. Now I couldn't get that close to them. If I tried to sneak up on them, they'd probably scarper. But you've got to admit, that's not a bad image for the close-up of a pigeon. So how about the other end when you're looking out over there somewhere? Also that LCD, see how useful it was to get down low instead of pressing my face into the gravel. So what have we got? Let's have a look. We've got a power station off in the distance. Now I know this isn't the most exciting subject, but as you can see, it is a very long way away. So let's see what we can frame up. That is just quite astonishing, really. Now with its auto image stabilizing, which is very powerful indeed, it's really great because it manages to hold the camera steady. What is image stabilizing? When you look through a very long lens, you may have noticed it's very hard to keep your subject still. Same thing happens with binoculars. It's because of little movements we make when we're breathing or moving. As human beings, we're not rock steady. The image stabilizing mode, the IS, that predicts what's going on and it freezes that motion so you get a nice sharp picture. Right now the sun's gone in and the danger of a soggy soft picture with it at full zoom is pretty extreme. The pigeons look pretty good. Let's have another go at the power station. There's one other function on here which I really quite like. It has a sort of automatic sky darkening system, which I don't remember what they call it for the minute, but it really works, even against that dull looking sky over there. So, the wide angle bit, not so great, but the long bit, I would say that's fantastic. Now, not only can you use the long bit for pigeons, you could also shoot macro with that too. Let's try it. I really like the colours of these leaves. They're just starting to turn as autumn's coming on and the light's coming through behind them. And I think that oak leaf there, let's get rid of that one, is going to make a nice picture. So we'll pop the camera into macro mode. Close up macro, there we go. For shooting very close subjects, it says. Let's frame up a shot. Let's see what we got. I'll zoom it in and quite a lot. Let's see if we can zoom it. There we go. So there's our leaf, and that's very interesting because the leaf is right smack in front of the viewfinder. It's pretty much filling the viewfinder and the camera is refusing to focus on it. It's focusing on the beach behind. How can it miss something that obvious and that close? Let's try holding it, make sure it's not because it's moving. No, this is only an out-of-the-box test. It's not as though I've lived with this camera for weeks or anything. Well, that's not working at all. Most lenses need to be on full zoom in order to shoot macro. So let's put it onto full zoom and try again. That's going to completely fill the viewfinder. No, I cannot get that leaf in focus. No, nothing at all. Let's keep moving back. No. No. Let's try again. Nice big green leaf. Look at that. It just cannot focus on it. Let's try these leaves up here. I sort of got one there, but it's not the shot I want to take. That's kind of the shot the camera wants to take. Okay, I'm sorry. Macro points out of 10, 2. Let's go and look at something else. There's another key feature, which is a super fast frame rate. Good for capturing action, something that's on the move. We thought we'd give it a go. Now, I've already switched it on, and we've kind of rehearsed this with Dominic. So Dominic, if you do your thing running across here in a minute, I'm just going to get framed up. I'm going to zoom the lens in a bit because I want this to be, this is about Dominic. I want to try and catch his action. Now let's see, hang on, I need to put him in the middle and focus so the camera knows where it's got to look, so it's got this distance. Go, Dominic! So the bad thing, whilst doing that, I can't see Dominic. I don't know if you can see in the back of the viewfinder. Dominic, do it again, going the other way. Can you see in the back there, Janie? Oh, I'm getting a shake of the head from the camera woman, so there's no point going there. But, let me see, if I put it down here, can you see? If I press the shutter, right, you can see the car park. Now when I hold the shutter button down, actually I'm going to do it like that, so I'm looking at those buildings. When I press the shutter down, all the time it's firing, you can't see what's going on. You're seeing little bursts of still image. So how are you supposed to follow the action? That I find irritating. As it happens, I've got some quite good pictures, so there is a way of doing this, but you have to develop your own technique. You've got to kind of frame your shot and then look over the top and just try and keep it all lined up as you're going. There is a little bugbear with this. My first thoughts when I picked this up and tried to use the high speed frame rate is sports mode. When are you going to be using it? Probably when one of your kids is crossing the line in the egg and spoon race or something like that. You want to capture those little magic moments. But in sport mode, it isn't available. It will only shoot 2 frames a second. Oh well, never mind. I have got some pretty cool pictures of Dominic there though. On to the next thing. This little camera can shoot high definition video. One of the things I'm very impressed with is how easy it is to hit the little red button in order to start recording. You haven't got to dig around and find anything. You've also got, of course, the image stabilizing, which I'm also very impressed with. So I just want to put it to the test. The light a moment ago was fabulous over there, but in the time it took to turn around and talk to the camera, it's changed. Let's just shoot a little video pan. Here we go. it is recording. So I'm just going to pan across like that. Now, looking at that, that looks to me to be very steady. That was really quite easy. Now, there's a little pause now as it says it's buffering whilst it's loading in the video. This also apparently has stereo sound capabilities. Now, as I've said before, I only had this for an hour or so in the afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to discover all of the ins and outs. This is very much a first impressions. But couple that image stabilising with the super powerful zoom lens, I think that could be a very interesting test. I think we're going to put it against our own film camera. So let's have a zoom race. You up for that, Janie?
Yeah. I haven't got the benefit of finding where I'm going though.
Okay,
so.
you see the white building? Hang on, I'll set you up. Where are you? I don't know, I can't see in your viewfinder.
Exactly.
Okay, alright. Well, let's just go for it. So I'm out wide and I'm recording, and let's zoom in onto that white building over there. I'll tell you what, that is a really lovely image. I'm just zooming in. Oh, my autofocus is having a little bit of a problem. There it is. Wow, that's in a long way. Once it gets itself sorted out, I think mine was quite good. But it has problems getting its autofocus going if you watch that. So let's try zooming out. I think the image quality is brilliant, and I do like this sky darkening feature, which has made that into a very dramatic shot. Kill the video. So again, the autofocus is hunting a bit, but then again, with a camera at sort of 350, 400 pounds, you can't really expect the earth. In conclusion then, there are some issues. There are some things about this which I really don't like, as you've probably gathered. Things I do like: the image stabilisation is fantastic. The power of that zoom lens is very good, and the optical image quality is also very good. When you look at the image files on your computer, I think you'll be very impressed with the colours and the way they look. However, I think some of the functions on this camera are rather gimmicky. Provided you stay away from those, you're just looking for a good quality camera which can take some great images. Forget about the gimmicks, then I think this could be an excellent little camera.